Hello everyone, welcome back. In the previous video, we had implemented the logic for actually saving an input that we get inside of our actual text form field. And now that we're saving this input, in this video, we are actually going to create the database function that is going to actually send a message up to a conversation. So without anything further to do, let's get into it. So I'll firstly remove our print statement from here. I'll do Alt-Shift-F command save. So with that, the next thing I'm going to do is that I am going to go to our database service, and inside of our database service, we are going to create the function that is going to be responsible for actually posting a message to a conversation. So let's get going. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to create a new function underneath of our future void for update user last seen time. And this function is also going to return a future of type void. What we'll do is that we'll call our function send message. And then inside of this function, what we'll do is that we'll firstly get a string of what conversation ID are we going to send the message to. And after that, we'll also get a actual message object. So message underscore, and we'll call it message. With that, what I'll do is that I'm going to go to the top and I'll import our actual message model. So import // and then models message. With that, we'll come down and now we're ready to actually define the function. So firstly, we'll define the reference to our actual document. So for that, what we'll do is that we'll do db.collection, then we'll have our actual conversations collection. And from there, we'll go to our actual document, which is going to be our under conversation ID. So now that we have our reference, the next thing we're going to do is that we're going to perform the action of actually writing our message to database. So for that, what we'll do is that we'll do reference.update data. And then what we'll do is that inside of here, we'll define our actual data. What we want to do is that we want to append to our actual messages array. So for that, what I'll do is that firstly, I'll go to our messages field, and inside of here, we'll do field value and then dot, and then we'll have a function that will be array union. And array union takes in an array of maps, and since we only have one element, we'll do a map inside of here. And now this match is going to be our actual message. So I'm just going to add some commas here and do Alt-Shift-F just to reformat the code. So now what we'll do is that we'll add our message inside of here. So firstly, we'll need our actual message. So the message that we'll need is going to be our actual message content. So message.content. Secondly, we'll also need our sender ID. The sender ID is going to be underscore message and then dot sender ID. Then we'll need our timestamp. So timestamp, and the timestamp is going to be our message dot timestamp. And then finally, the last thing we'll need is our type, and the type is going to be underscore message and then dot type. With this, what we can do is that we can do Alt-Shift-F command save, and we have created the function for actually sending the message. Now what we can do is that we can hop on over back to our conversation page, and we can import our actual database service, which we had already imported. With that, what we can do is that we can go to our actual send message button. So we can go down to where we have our send message button, and inside of our send message button, we are actually going to perform the logic for actually sending the message. So firstly, what we'll do inside of our onPressed is that we're going to validate our form. So for that, I'll have an if key, and I'll do form key dot current state dot validate. So once we have the form key or the form validated, the next thing we'll do is that we'll get our database service dot instance, and then we'll send our message. Our message would require our actual conversation ID. For that, what we can do is that we can do this dot widget and then dot, and then we would have our conversation ID. And then after that, what we'll do is that we'll also need our actual message. So for the message, what I'm going to do is that I am going to define a new message object. And for the content, we'll do whatever content we get. So the content is going to be whatever text we get inside of our actual input field. Then after that, we'll also require our timestamp, and the timestamp is going to be for now timestamp.now because we just sent the message. The next thing is going to be our sender ID, and the sender ID we'll get from our actual auth dot and then the user and then dot UID. And then finally, the last thing we would need is our type, and we know that in this type, the message type is going to be text. So we'll do message type and then dot text. And then finally what I'll do is that I'm going to add a comma, and I'm going to add a semicolon here, and I'll do Alt-Shift-F. And with that, what we can do is that we can do Command Save. Now I just noticed one problem, that when we send a message, we set the message type to the actual type that gets passed in, but we have to actually determine what the type is. And for that, what we can do is that we can go down to our actual reference, and here we can define our message type. So we could do var and then message type, and what we'll do is that we'll set that to actually nothing for now. And then after that, what we can do is that we can have a switch statement, and in the switch statement, what we can do is that we can go through the message.type, and then we could have different cases for what our actual message.type is going to be. So the first case is going to be that our message type is text, and after that, what I'll do is I'll remove the space and I'll add another case. So I'll just copy this line, add it here, and the other could be that our message is an image, and if our message is a text, then our actual message type is going to be underscore message type, and that is going to be our actual text. And if our message type is an image, then I'll copy this and I'll add this here, and I'll set this equal to an image. And with that, what we can do is that we can do Alt-Shift-F, Command Save, and we can take our actual message type and we can set it here for our actual type of our message. With this, what we can do is that we can do Alt-Shift-F, Command Save, and now hopefully the message type that we upload is a string. So with that, I'm going to go back to our conversation page, and we should now try sending a message. So I'm going to do Alt-Shift-F, Command Save, reload our application, and go to our actual one of our conversations, and I'm going to say nothing much, do a dot and send, and we got an error. Okay everyone, so I found what the error was, and there's no error in our logic. All we have to do is that we have to go to our pubspec.yaml file, and we have to update our Firebase core version to this version, and we have to update our Cloud Firestore version to this version. And with that, you can rebuild the app and the issue should be resolved. So now if we test again and we actually send a message, so I'm going to be, after nothing much, I'll be like, what's your plan for the weekend? So, and then weekend, and I add a dot and then I send it. You're going to see that it pops up saying, what's your plan for the weekend? Since we were already listening to changes inside of our list view because we were using a stream, that's why as soon as we send a message, it goes up to Firebase, the message is displayed here. So with that, we have successfully implemented the functionality of actually sending text messages in a conversation. And now in the next video, we are actually going to work towards the logic of actually sending image messages. But before we end this video here, what I would like to do is that I would like to reset, once we send a message, our actual text form field. So for that, it's fairly simple. All we would have to do is that we would have to go to our actual function for the send message button. And after we actually send our message, the next thing we are going to do is that we are going to take our form key, and then we are going to do our current state. And then what we'll do is that we'll call the reset function. And with that, what I'll do is that I'll also use the focus scope, and then we'll do dot off and then the underscore context that gets passed into our function, and then we'll do unfocus. So what this line of code does is that it unfocuses the actual text view. So I'll explain to you what this is going to do. So now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to do command. So now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to remove all of the text that we had, and I'm going to send one last message, the waiting on you. And now if I send, you're going to see that the text field actually gets removed. So the text inside of our text form field gets removed, the message gets added, and the text field, the cursor we had, gets removed. So to remove the cursor and actually make the field be unfocused, then we use the unfocus function. So with that, I'm going to end this video here, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.